Ladies and gentlemen, there must be a God. There must be, because Gus Malzahn is no longer the head coach at Auburn University. Somewhere, some way, the planets lined up Uranus, and they fired that piece of shit down there on the plains. And finally, we have an opportunity to actually be a competitive program again. Mr. Hicks, welcome in War Eagle. It is going to be a great day. Now I can smile every Saturday when I wake up. I was waking up depressed.
What is up, Tommy D? I got choppy yet again. I'm so sorry. You know how the West Virginia Wi-Fi is. But Auburn, I heard there must be a God. There
must be a God. There's got to be. I mean, because, I have prayed for years and years, ever since easily 2016.
Yeah.
It's 2021, almost 2021. I've been praying since 2016 for his ass to get fired. And you know what they did in 2016? They gave his ass a damn extension.
Which, looking at, I'm glad we started off on this because to me, SEC jobs are prestigious, okay, in college football especially. And this is one of the top. Really, a lot of these, yeah, barely, but we're here. I am El Presidente.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a slacker this morning. It wasn't Justin. I woke up and was it's gonna be about another hour, brother, before I get around to it.
Yeah, when he told me that, I'm like, all good, brother Tommy. But as you said, 2016, he got the extension. Now we await a coach. This is one of the top jobs, this and LSU, that could come open. I mean, I know they had their big win last week against Florida. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. But all these, especially in the West and the SEC, but even in the East, we've seen Vanderbilt pull in Notre Dame's defensive coordinator.
Like, dude, and that's a big damn hire for Vandy.
Absolutely.
People laughed at that shit like, oh, that was the best they could have. Dude, it's Vanderbilt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just to get a defensive coordinator of that dude's stature, just to get him to be a head coach and come down there, I'm happy for Vandy. And the thing about it was, I laughed at an Auburn fan the other day. He was like, look at Vandy. They went out and did this hiring with no damn drama. I said, because they're Vandy. I mean, you could have sent them down Talladega Tech's head coach down in Alabama, and they would have been happy as could be. Oh, we might get 3 wins this year, guys.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but their headline news, and I'm not being sexist or anything like that, was the female kicker. They were not worried about wins because they couldn't compete with anybody. And I'm actually
speaking of that, I got a question I got to ask you, because me personally, I'm the same way. I'm not sexist. I don't care if she's got there kicking field goals.
Yeah, you worry though, right?
Well, you worry on top of it, but I got a snicker. I laughed deep down inside because Vanderbilt posted that they put her jersey and her pants and her helmet in their trophy case, and it said underneath it, "Thank you for entrusting us with with this. We promise we won't let anything happen to it." And I read that and I giggled inside, because who the hell is going to Vanderbilt's trophy case to steal anything? There's nothing there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's going to be nothing else in there to tarnish it or anything. They're not going to win a bowl for it. Now, again, I like the Notre Dame hire, but still, you got to recruit and all that. He's a great coach, though, underrated as can be.
And for those that don't know, I'm not cutting on the girl. I think it was very cool what they did. Because of COVID, they had to go get her, and she was a soccer player. She had kicked some extra points in high school. But here's the deal. The only thing she did was kick 2 extra points. And she had a kickoff that was 30 yards long. Okay, and it's kind of hard for one side to say, well, you got to treat her as equal, and then that was her performance. And then they took her uniform and put it in the damn trophy.
Yeah, that's not exactly equal to your point.
If she was out there busting 45, 50-yard field goals, man, I've been like, hey.
Yeah.
that's awesome. But
Give this girl a trophy, give her an award now. And that's the thing. Will she get an award come Herbie time? You don't know. I've been curious about that. Well, I actually have an update on that Facebook. I
yes,
want to say
I don't know
Mr.
who that is, but if you click the link above, you can register. We'll get around to that. We'll definitely be talking about that because that's where we're at.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and cover some last week's games really, really fast. I'm not going to cover them all. We're going to cover the big ones. Alabama blows out Arkansas 52-3, about like Justin had predicted.
I was close, yeah.
Pretty close. LSU and Florida. This was the talk of the week.
Yeah.
Florida number 6 going in today, and they're going to the playoff possibly if they win today. They take on LSU last week. Way closer game than it should have been. LSU is not that good this year. Florida went there, they struggled, they overlooked. That's what everybody feared they would end up doing, and LSU would end up giving them a loss before they had to go face Alabama for the SEC championship this week. Here's the issue. Florida cost herself this game, not only with the points, but with the throwing of the damn shoe. Now, yes. I don't care if he threw it at a player. I don't care if he only threw it 10 yards. Why did you throw the damn shoe? Like, you know that they're going to throw the damn flag on that shit, man. That was just – it was immaturity on Florida's part. If you miss it, LSU tries to get – I think it was a first down, correct? They were trying to get to the first down marker.
I believe so, yeah.
Florida makes the tackle. Well, when the guy goes to pull his foot up from running – he's got his leg locked, so of course his cleat comes off in his hands, in his arms.
Yeah.
Well, they stop him. LSU is not in range. They stopped him.
Right. It was close. They were going to get the ball back with good yardage. Probably within LSU territory. Well, maybe with Kyle Trask.
Right, and then they're celebrating. So the Florida guy comes up and chunks the cleat about 20 yards down the field. Knowing damn good and well they're going to call a flag on that. They call the flag. It moves LSU closer into field goal range. LSU hits the field goal. And what was that, number 4, if I'm not correct?
Florida, yes, number 4, I believe, because they moved back. Yeah, you're right, number 4. Which would have set up for an even better SEC championship game if they would have won, let's be honest.
Stupidity cost Florida this game.
It did.
Kyle Trask still had 474 passing yards. I say give this kid the Heisman. It's over.
I have a question on that, Tommy, because I was thinking about this just a minute ago. Is today the duel of Kyle Trask and Mac Jones? I believe so. I'm trying to think of a Vanderbilt player, and I really thank you, Brother Rick. I think it's dirty, by the way. I just picked it up as one of the first things. But thank you. We all love Eddie. Viva la football, baby.
Viva la football. He frees, lies, cheats, and steals. So does Nick Saban.
So does every other coach that's worth his salt in college football. Urban Meyer. I had to. I'm sorry, Ohio State.
And the great words of Pat Dye. And this was his words. There is no program in the nation that is literally white. It's about who gets busted. Because, and he, that's admitting. Everybody does a little bit of shady shit. They break the rules. I mean, all of them do. It's just if you get caught or not.
Yeah. And usually the bad ones don't because they can't outbid the higher team.
Right.
A la Mississippi State and Auburn a few years back with Cam Newton. I believe it was Mississippi State when they tried to get Cam.
Yeah, then they tried to put the blame on us and we were cheating.
Yeah, they're like,
Mississippi State was the one that offered to pay him.
Mississippi State's like, they cheated because we offered him $50,000.
That was Bama fan logics right there. Mississippi State offered him money, so Auburn's cheating. You know what I'm saying? That was exactly their logic. That's where the Scam Newton bullshit came from.
Scam Newton. That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
But I feel today as Trask and Mac duel. Mac obviously unbeaten so far this year and has had honestly surprisingly impressive, because I didn't expect Mac to do this. We've talked about this a few times. Does this come down to the Heisman race, or would you give it to Trask already based
I
on
tell you
what
what,
he's
this
done?
right here is a real great example why I think I would give it to Trask.
Okay.
Because looking at these numbers right here, Matt Jones only had 208 passing yards last week and a 52-3 win over Arkansas.
That's true. Yeah.
Because Bama's defense is so good, their lines are so good, where Florida's defense is average, but it has to rely on Kyle Trask in order for them to win games. So I'm going to have to give it to Trask because every game Trask has just about had, it's been like 400-something yards he's had passing. Or
I think he had, was it 4 or 5 last week? He
yeah.
He had the 2 interceptions, but he was up there yet again doing Kyle Trask.
That's the only reason
like
I would have to give it just a slight edge over Jones. Don't get me wrong, Matt Jones is doing great. Or Mac or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah. Mac. It's surprising that I'm not meaning to knock on him. They're actually talking. Some goofy CBS report had 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. I think that's ridiculous. I see maybe 3 possibly, but depending on who comes out still.
Well, the thing about it is too is there's so many teams in NFLs that needs damn quarterbacks.
Well, that's
that
true.
Might be why. That might be why.
But I feel like if you take 5, who's left? Who's going to be in the second and third round? But that's where I see a Mac if you're going to go for him, second, third round. Because if you're the New York Jets, you need to fill 22 positions instead of 1. I'm sorry, Jet fans. I love you, but it's the truth.
I feel so sorry for the Jets, man.
I think everybody does. To your point, though, on Trask, I will say you feel like it's almost like the NFL MVP debate. It should go to the absolute best player.
Yep.
Even okay, let's face it. If Kyle Trask is not the quarterback named in this position this year,
no, they're not.
It's Georgia. It's either a Georgia or it's probably Georgia with 2 losses because the only other loss was to Bama.
Right.
And Kyle Trask put them there. I can see that logic. And based on Mac's performance, and don't get me wrong, he hasn't been terrible by any means, but Kyle Trask has been on another level. I can't fault you for saying that, but I am excited to see this matchup later.
Yeah, me too. Next up, you had number 9 Georgia taking on number 25 Missouri. Missouri been looking good or decent all year. One of the better Missouri teams I've seen. Number 9 Georgia had been slipping off the past couple of weeks, not looking like up to par. This was not the case. Georgia hangs 49 on them. They end up beating Missouri 49-14. Excuse me. Daniels had 299 passing yards. I'll get into some more of that stuff later. You also had number 17 North Carolina at number 10 Miami. This was the weirdest game that I've ever seen, just about, because we could have swore, man. I could have swore North Carolina done lost their mojo.
Yeah, I agree.
Season. And they was not looking very good. And Miami was coming in at number 10. I thought this should have been, I felt like, and I said it was going to be a high scoring game, but I was thinking it was going to be like 47-30 something or something like that.
A duel.
Yeah, a duel. It ends up being North Carolina ends up hanging 62 on Miami. So it ends up being 62-26.
Very high.
I just don't understand. It was a lot of turnovers. A lot of turnovers on both sides of the ball. But it was just that has got to be, as far as to my knowledge, and I didn't look it up, but as far as my knowledge, that has got to probably be one of the worst ass whippings that Miami's ever took from North Carolina.
I think it has to be, right? Because North Carolina wasn't even really known as a football program here until the last, honestly, couple of years, 5-6 years, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And Mac has really brought relevancy back. Mac Brown. We just talked about Mac Jones. Sorry there, fellas. Guys and girls watching at home. But Mac Brown, man, he laid it to him. I was shocked. Me and you both had picked Miami to win. They looked the part. The only loss was to Clemson, and that's Clemson with Trevor Lawrence and all the starters.
Poor Miami. Ain't it a bitch when your offense clicks and clicks and clicks, and then you have these games you should win and they don't win? Look who their offensive coordinator is.
What is it?
Just saying, it's Auburn's old offensive coordinator. They had what was his name? Shit.
For who?
For Miami.
Offensive court. I don't know, but I do know Manny Diaz. They brought Ed Reed in there to be the chief of staff or whatever you want to call it. That I've just said I haven't watched a ton of Miami. They haven't been on a lot. They played a lot of close games, but or they did. They won a lot of close games. So they look faulty. They look faulty based on last week.
All right. Next up, you had number 13, Coastal Carolina at Troy. Coastal Carolina. We've been on the Coastal Carolina choo-choo train all year with them. They get another win over Troy, 42-38. This is one of them reasons why.
Very close. Yeah.
I'm not going to go into debate about it right now because it ain't going to do no good. But it's one of the reasons why I want there to be a bigger playoff bracket to give teams like this a chance. They've been whipping everybody's ass all year, and I don't mean like just beat. I know they play in a weak division, but even when they played like a middle of the road team, they were still beating the shit out of them by like 40 or 50 points.
Yeah.
So like
BYU, they gave BYU their only loss on the season.
Yep.
And because little old Coastal Carolina beat BYU, they weren't even ranked. I don't feel as if that's really right. Hello, Miss Christie. I'm her number one fan, as I like to say, part of MWA. Check about tomorrow, guys. 2020 wrestling. Tommy, when are you going to do 2020? I feel like you and your wrestling knowledge would be impeccable.
I know, and she's asked me a couple of times, and I can't never get free.
You are very busy.
Yeah, I'm very, very busy. Like Sunday's like my one free day to like really do stuff with the family. So like it really interferes me trying to do it on a Sunday.
I love watching 2020, by the way. And thank you for checking us out, Chris.
It is a very cool show. I love what they do over there, her and Piers and all them, but it's my schedule's so tight through the week. And then that one little free day, I have to spend it with old lady and stuff. So
right. I'm sitting there pushing the button. Do this, Tommy. Do
this. Look at him. He's like, yeah, do this because you beat my ass in that promo. Do this. That's what I told everybody when you went missing and your internet blew up. I was like, damn. After I spanked his ass, he just
that's what happened. Yeah, that's truly what happened. I can't lie. I told somebody I felt like your prison girlfriend last night. I was like, I just went to bed and forgot about it.
Right. Next up, you had, you know what? I don't even care about. Whoa. Who won that game? Because I missed it. USC and UCLA. I did pick UCLA for the upset. It didn't happen. USC gets this one done, which brings us before we dive into the fun. Is what I like to call it because now football's starting to get fun. Before we dive into that, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Man, that gets you hyped. That gets me hyped up, honestly. Is that you or Bo Jax and Patrick doing the vocals for that? Be honest. Because I've never heard the song.
I wish. It's just a copyright-free song that I found.
Well, it works.
It's probably one of the cooler copyright. That's what everybody says. That's what everybody at Pinfall tells me. I mean, you found like the coolest damn because usually copyright-free music sucks.
Yeah,
Like
it
you found,
does.
you found one of the coolest damn songs in there. I was like, dude, I found it by accident. So I guess Moose has got like since I handed over that podcast to him. He's got probably one of the cooler entrances. Let's go ahead and dive into this. This is what I've been waiting for. By the way, UM Monroe and Troy was canceled for Thursday. They were supposed to play. Also, you had last night the big controversial about Mario Cristobal up at Oregon, and is Auburn going to hire him? And I've heard so many I'm telling you, I've lost sleep over this damn hiring job. I'm just here to tell you. I have totally lost sleep over it because, and I've drove myself crazy. I've probably looked at my phone more in the past week than I have in a very long time because I'm just like constantly waiting for an update and like just constantly looking for any little maybe inside information I could find about anything and trying to put two and two together. But I'm still completely lost. It's not going to be Mario Cristobal. He signed a big Gus Malzahn like extension with Oregon. I don't think it was ever him. I think he was. Did what many coaches have done, and he played it to his advantage, and he got every damn dime he could get out of Nike in Oregon, and he did a damn good job of it too. Because I watched the interview he did where he come out and he's like, I trust Oregon to do the right thing, and smiled real big, and I was like, yep, Oregon about to break out that Nike money to keep him from going anywhere because like he had him in a corner like, pay me or I'm leaving because Auburn's going to offer me big dollars. I know they are.
And they would have. I feel like Auburn.
They were talking about it ended up being, if they would have hired him and gave him the money he wanted, it would end up being like a $51 million contract. By the time they end up paying some of the other staff off that they got to pay out and then pay his big ass contract because they paid Gus's like over half of it at once to get him. So I guess they didn't even got to worry about him down the road.
Yeah, Gus is done. Yeah, no Bobby Bonilla contract for him.
Yeah, and listen, it's not freaking Kevin Steele. Well, people quit saying that shit's driving me crazy. Why would you wait all this time to announce that it's Kevin Steele? Because you lost recruits the other day because the other day was signing day. You lost recruits because of that. They don't know who your head coach is. Well, and I don't blame them. I ain't going to a university. I don't know who the hell you're hiring.
Yeah.
Like
Joe Schmo coming off the street and nobody wants to play for him.
I mean, you don't want to go play for Butch Jones or some shit. You don't know who the hell they're going to hire. I mean, so
the worst coach in college football history, may I add. He may not be. He took the Arkansas State head coach.
He did. I can't believe Arkansas State was that stupid to hire him. They could have found anyone else but Butch Jones. I mean,
he started off as a I don't know if he started off, but he was a West Virginia wide receivers coach at one time. And I had a friend who was saying, man, he's going to be a great head coach. And I was like, no, he's not. He's not. And so far I've been right. No, he's at Arkansas State.
Yeah. I think Saban had him mopping the bathrooms over for a couple years over in Alabama.
The big before we get into it, because I'm very curious with Auburn. I love the coaching carousel and the NCAA football, especially. This is the biggest. I feel like, and I've told you on a few occasions now, you got the Kansas City shirt on. Eric Bieniemy. He is worthy of.
He is one of the names that I have been seeing a lot, and they are really talking about him hard. Some people that don't even know who he is, but of course they're going to. You can't hire a Nick Saban every time you hire a coach. Like that's just not going to happen. Yeah. Like you're going to have to kind of settle for what you can kind of get for and keep it within reason because you just got our ass out of a big contract with someone. You don't want to jump too deep. I don't feel like. But if it is a bigger name, you've got to pay the dollars. Like that's how I feel. I just feel they're up to something.
Yeah,
they've been up to something for like probably the past half a year or so. I just think that I've heard rumors that Kevin Steele went to the AD and been talking behind Gus's back for 2 years to get him fired, and it be Kevin. I mean that's a long time. I'm sorry, guys. Kevin Steele was 1-31. As a head coach.
So it can't, please God, don't let it be Kevin Steele now.
Yeah, like he's got terrible numbers. Well, he lost. It ain't 1-3. He won. He was at Baylor, I think it was for 2 or 3 years, and he
Okay.
won what 1 or 2 games each year as a head coach. But out of his defense, this was in the 90s when Baylor just joined up with the Big 12.
Okay.
This was in the prime days of Nebraska. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these other Big 12, this is in the prime days of Texas. You know what I mean? I mean, like
Texas Tech. Texas Tech
Texas
was on the
Tech
come up.
off
Yeah.
them come up, and I mean, you had all that big recruiting bracket that come down through there. Trust me, Baylor wouldn't get none of them. Oklahoma and everybody was snatching them up. So, like, you kind of have to give him a little bit of a break on that, but still, I just don't think that you keep your mouth closed all this time for it just to be Kevin Steele, because you would have just said, well, we're just going to hire Kevin Steele.
Yeah, or at least name him what she has been named interim, right?
Of course he has. He's defensive coordinator.
So, yeah, I mean they would have been like interim with because a lot of teams have done that, and they're like
that's how Coach O got hired. He was
exactly. Yeah,
he was the interim coach. They loved what he did, and they gave him a shot and said, "All right, we'll give you a shot." It paid off for him, but not this year.
And he may also be on the hot seat as you mentioned. I mean, LSU ain't gonna put up with too many of those losing seasons. Eric Bieniemy, I feel, would be phenomenal wherever he goes. You could recruit based on your NFL name, your Pat Mahomes relationship, and your Super Bowl rings potentially. This year could be a very wide open year, and that's thankful. That's thanks to
and that might be one of the reasons why they're waiting.
It very well could be because about come playoff time, they have about a 2-week window, and Kansas City now sits in the number 1 seed for the AFC playoff. So he's going to have a little bit more time to talk to teams, as he's been doing a few interviews with NFL searches. But he's stated before he'll go to a college team, like if the time was right and all that.
Right. So the name that I loved that stuck out was Lane Kiffin. That was the name I loved. I'm not a Lane Kiffin fan, but I feel like the year with Saban made Lane grow up fast. Like he grew up really, really fast with being around Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ole Miss is a good fit for Lane, just because I feel like they're just never going to be that top college because it's Ole Miss. I mean,
they're not even. I hate to say it, they're not even the best team in Mississippi.
They're not.
And
so at Auburn, I just feel like if he came to Auburn, Saban's got about. I don't know when he's going to retire because he's like the devil. He don't never go away. So I know, though, it's got to be anywhere between the end of this year or 3 years down the road. Saban don't have that many more years left.
Right. I think he's late 60s or early 70s. I don't know.
Well, he's got nothing left. He's already broke the Bears record.
Right.
Like, what's left to prove?
And there has been people have talked about his desire to want to be in the media. Even though he hates them, he seems to hate them.
Hey,
he does.
I would love for him to come on them shows and give real inside information from a real coach, and so a bunch of them dumbass former players who played one position and don't know nothing else about the other position. And say they're them.
Sam Achu or Acho on Fox Sports, and I'm like, come on, really?
Oh, God, we got to move this along. We're behind, Justin.
I'm sorry.
Oregon and USC. Oregon gets this one done, 31-24. Oregon is now your Pac champions. UAB and Marshall. This is another name that's coming up for the Auburn job. Bill Clark, a lot. UAB at Marshall. UAB wins Conference USA. They beat Marshall and get it done. Ball State and Buffalo. Ball State wins this one 38-28 over Buffalo. Nebraska and Rutgers. Nebraska wins this one 28-21 over Rutgers.
Finally, baby.
Finally, they win one. They've been rough all year. Purdue in number 11. Indiana was canceled. Indiana is another name that they swear. I posted in there to you the other day that the Jets went to. According to the Jets, they went to Louisiana, turned and come up to Indiana and come back down to Auburn. So we don't know. I wouldn't be mad they hired him either. I mean,
he put on the team earmarked for the college football playoff. Whoever said that earlier, I don't know if they came through or what, but we'll talk about that later too. Tom
Yeah,
Allen, I believe is his name. Tom Allen,
yeah, I think Tom Allen. Yes.
and
Uh,
great coach, great coach.
Here's a game that is everyone needs to watch out for as as we said earlier, for the playoff community. Number 14 Northwestern takes on number 4 Ohio State at 11 a.m. on Fox kickoff time. I'm gonna have to go with Ohio State in this just because of how stacked they are.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna let them in. Is it really fair to let them in?
to the Ohio State brass, it's very fair to let them in
Well, of
because
course, of
because
course.
they didn't invent COVID. That's their basis. How he did well. We won't get into that. We all have a theory, but it wasn't Ohio State that invented the COVID. That being
Could have
said,
been. You sure that ain't a Buckeye virus?
oh God, it really could be. Their basketball program ain't all that. And this did start during March Madness. That's all I'll say. I don't know if it's fair or not, Tommy. I mean, it's very questionable. But as we've stated before, Ohio State is always the media darlings. They're always that AP pick to do something. And seeing them come back to relevancy a few years ago, it honestly hurt. It hurt a little bit because it's like, man, when's the devil going to go back to where he belongs? And it looks like no time soon. They're a well-oiled machine,
Yeah.
and they're probably going to get in if they win today.
Number 5, Texas A&M at Tennessee, 11 a.m. kickoff time, ESPN. I think A&M handles themselves pretty well in this one. Should get it done pretty good against Tennessee.
Now, can I say you've had a little debate amongst some Texas A&M fans over the last few days that I really thoroughly enjoyed because they're beating their chest, acting like they're the best when they haven't done anything since.
I couldn't help myself. It was too easy. It was just too easy, man, because I can bait A&M fans, and this is not a shot towards A&M fans. They're just so easy to bait into this discussion of do they belong in the SEC or not? Because it's anytime they say anything, and I've been hearing it since they've come to the SEC. They've been in the SEC how many years now? A pretty good minute.
A bit, probably 2011.
Yeah, 2011 or so. Okay,
10,
I've heard
maybe.
them every year. The year they came in, they're going to dominate us. We ain't never seen a team like Texas A&M because they come from the Big 12, and they're going to come in and run the SEC. Okay, when that shit didn't work out, then it was we got our recruits coming in a couple of years, blah, 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 blah. And then they got Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
So when they had Johnny, it was, well, now we got Johnny Manziel. We're about to run all over the SEC. And then Cam Newton went into God mode at Auburn and said, like, no, bitch, that ain't happening. And like they went to the 12th man's house and beat them, screwed up their whole season.
Well, Bama, he beat Bama. That's the only claim to fame Manziel had.
Really.
And then the next year, Bama destroyed him.
Destroyed him.
And I mean, that's facts. And
I've just been hearing it for a while. I mean, and
they've been through a coach now. They've been through two. They've been
on probation. I mean,
they've been on probation. Now Jimbo's there.
Yeah, now Jimbo's there. I just don't look. I don't try to take nothing away from Texas A&M because they're an SEC school. I like SEC schools, but Missouri's been to 2 SEC championships, and you've been to 0. I'm just saying. It's kind of hard because that was always my comeback to them. Like, because everybody, SEC fans, really legitimately, when you looked at those two teams, you're like, why the hell is Missouri coming to the SEC? Right. Texas A&M, we wasn't even worried about that. We knew that. We thought they could hold their own.
Yeah.
But apparently,
Missouri.
Because Missouri has been to 2 SEC championships. Don't get me wrong, they got murdered in both of them. They got murdered one year by Auburn. They got murdered the next year by Alabama. Yeah. But and I love and then here's the comeback argument because I know it's the same argument I have every time when I say that. Well, they play in the East. You jackass. Listen, SEC teams don't just play Western teams. It only happened this year because of COVID.
Right.
They only played their West or East or what their
Yeah.
SEC conference or whatever, pretty much.
Their division within
Their
the
division
conference.
for the most part. They played outside of in it just a little bit. Like we played Georgia and stuff like that. But that's my
Yeah.
point. The West still plays the freaking East, so it's not like Missouri still had to beat sometimes a big team to get into the position they were in to
Yeah.
slide in. So like
And LSU or someone like that, a Mississippi, sorry, not Mississippi, but
in which to this guy's
Auburn,
high knowledge of I guess talking football, he called me a drug addict and a meth head like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Well, that was the only argument he had. And
I
I
know
just,
he personally.
And I just politely said, well, I can't believe that's the only insult you got, but it's more than the SEC rings that y'all have. So, and I've not heard back from the guy. So, like,
that's all you have to say.
That's all. Because come on, man. I hate Alabama, and I can sit here and try to downplay Alabama all I want to because I'm not an Alabama fan. But at the end of the day, they are the golden bar standard that everyone else measures themselves up to. And I am a diehard bleed orange and blue. Can't stand Nick Saban. Ain't never liked Alabama. Not one little bit. Alabama could be playing Saudi Arabia. And I would be pulling for Saudi Arabia. That is no shit. But you got to have some kind of sense of what's going on in the world. And if you can't, there was another mark where he said something, and I said something about they could just take their ass back to the Big 12 and be the third or fourth best team in the conference.
They should. I think they should. I would gladly take West Virginia out to replace Texas A&M and put us in the ACC.
We were killing time. Number 10, Oklahoma at number 6, Iowa State. Who do you got?
I'm gonna say Iowa State gets it done. Well, yeah, I'll roll with Iowa State. Another potential coaching hire in Matt Campbell.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Iowa State in that one also. You also got Washington and Utah, 12:30 kickoff time, FS1. I'm going to go with Utah in this one.
I think I'll – did you say Washington or
Washington State?
Washington State. Yep. I'll say Washington State just because Pac-12 has been super weird. I'll say Washington State just to be different.
Air Force and Army play today. I didn't know that. 2 o'clock kickoff. Wow. CBS. I'm gonna go Army. Army beat the shit out of Navy.
Army. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I did miss that game, unfortunately, but I will say Army gets it done over Air Force.
That was the first time they beat Navy in what was it, 10 years?
I'm not sure. Navy definitely slipped this year. I think they were on the slippage last year. Hopefully, they get some guys in there.
Ole Miss at LSU in Death Valley, 2:30 kickoff time.
Coming off a big win, I think LSU gets it done. I really do. Because Lane is going to have to really do some stuff with that offense. And last week, we seen him take on the potential Heisman winning quarterback and defeat him. So it was impressive.
Ole Miss also don't have much of a defense. That's a lot of their problem.
No, yeah.
They have to rely so much on damn scoring. Speaking of that, here's another team that's just like them. Missouri at Mississippi State. Mississippi State don't have no defense either. Well, I say that, and they kind of look like they proved me wrong when they played Auburn because I don't know what the hell was going on there. That shouldn't even been close. But
Mike Leach watches the show. He watches
the show. Mike Leach. I'll take Missouri in this one.
I will too. They've had the hot hand, and unfortunately, Mississippi State. I tend to root for them some because of Mike Leach. Unfortunately, this is first year trials and no defense, as you mentioned. Missouri gets it done.
Number 3, easy. Clemson at number 2, Notre Dame. This is going to be a damn good game. This.
Arguably the game of the day, but I don't think so. The line is currently, I believe, 17.5 for Clemson. So it was 10.5 right before I went to bed last night. 7 points. I say Clemson wins by 3 touchdowns, 21-0.
Minnesota and Wisconsin.
You pick first.
Damn it. I'm gonna go with Minnesota just because Wisconsin's missed so many damn games.
I wanted to say the same thing. I was just seeing where your head was.
Boise State at number 24, San Jose State.
Ooh.
That
You
might
know
be a
what?
game. That's a sleeper game.
That really is. That's a conference championship. Is that for a conference championship?
I believe so.
The wet. You know, I'm gonna
Yep,
say
because they're
Boise's.
playing. Yeah, because they're playing in they're playing in Sam Boyd Stadium, Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Mountain West or whatever it is. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Boise State. They've been somewhat of a football program for the last several years. So why not?
Here we go. Illinois at Penn State.
Oh God, is anybody watching that?
Yeah, and I heard Franklin's name come up as a coach and head candidate, and I said, no, thank you.
No.
Thanks, but no thanks.
He would be good for half a season, but then
He'd be good as a coordinator. That's about
Yeah,
it.
I agree. He would be a good coordinator.
I'll go with Penn State in that one, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy in the foot. I mean, they both have been terrible all year. Stanford at UCLA. I'll go with UCLA, even though they let me down last week.
UCLA has been hot this year. They lost to USC by the skin of their teeth. I think they get it done. Chip Kelly's offense seems to be coming alive.
Number 23, Tulsa. Number 9, Cincinnati.
Got to be Cincinnati, right? I mean, they've went this far. They're getting the snub. I wanted to mention earlier. I know we've talked a lot about coaching. I love coaching changes, but the athletic director actually said, "Bring back the BCS. It was more fair."
Yeah, and that's bad.
That is terrible. So yeah, it makes you wonder.
Arizona State at Oregon State.
Arizona State, the last time we heard of them, put up a 70-plus burger. I can't remember what it was. Got Kevin Sumlin fired.
Yep.
I expect
It was
them to do the same.
73, I believe it was.
73. I think they'll at least this will be closer because Utah State, you said?
Oregon State.
Oh, Oregon State. Sorry.
The Beavers.
Oh yeah, they're gonna kill the Beavers, I believe.
Oh,
they're going beaver hunting, baby.
They're going beaver hunting. And here it is, the game of the week. Number 1, Alabama at Florida. Atlanta, Georgia. SEC championship on the line. National championship possibly on the line.
Yeah.
Possibly. Definitely a playoff spot on the line. Probably. Well, Alabama would probably get in even if they lose.
Yeah. This is big for Florida.
It's big for Florida. Florida has to get it done today.
To even stand a remote chance, because they would then jump Texas, the all-star Texas A&M team, the SEC champions without a ring, as you mentioned.
I believe it was last year also Alabama beat Florida in the SEC championship, wasn't it?
Either Florida or Georgia. I can't. No, well, it would have been LSU, right? Wouldn't it have been?
No,
LSU?
it would have been LSU. The year before that, it was Dan Mullen.
Okay. There we go.
The year before that, Georgia beat the shit out of Auburn.
Yes.
Championship.
Sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah. It's good. It really don't matter when Alabama's always winning the damn national championship ring. Like, you almost get to the point that you're just like, it was probably Alabama. Like, even if you don't know, you're like, I'm for sure it was probably Alabama. You look like, when you look it up, you're like, well, I'll be damned. What, it wasn't Alabama?
That's when you know it's bad. I mean,
yeah,
you're right. Alabama, they're just too big and strong, I feel. You know, Florida last week losing to LSU, which LSU has some blue chippers. They got some nice recruits, but so does Alabama.
Out of last week's game's fairness, LSU's back was against the wall. They play like a team with their back against the wall. They had to prove a point that they was not. You know, they probably went out there and played for Coach O in that expense. Florida probably laid off a lot in that game, I feel like, because no matter what, they were still going to get. They were still in position.
Looking ahead to Alabama, kind of.
Looking too far ahead. Alabama's line, though. Oh my God, man! I was watching highlights of their line from last week, dude. It's just like there's some cornbread fed boys on that front offensive line, man. I'm talking about like they're not letting no one through, and they're just like they don't just block them, but then they squash them after they block them to the ground. Like so,
it's like chasing a spider or something, right? Najee Harris, I think last week, who I'm huge on. I think he should be a top. That's if I'm a GM, I would trade for him or whatever. Najee Harris broke the rushing touchdown record at Alabama. So that's how impressive he is. But that
Yeah.
offensive line also.
Think of the running backs that's come from Alabama.
Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, 2 Heisman Trophy winners,
DJ
and
Yeldon,
several before him. Yeah,
yeah.
too many to name, honestly.
David Palmer. I mean, come on, man. I mean, there's a lot of guys that's come from Alabama that's got some rushing yards.
Eddie Lacy also.
Eddie Lacy.
I'm talking a little newer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
This is tough. This is what I'll say. Alabama wins it, but I want Florida to win it.
Because
I hate Alabama, but Alabama probably gets the win, but I'm not pulling for Alabama. I'm pulling for Florida in this one. So,
well, Tommy, here's the real question. Oh, what was you gonna say? Sorry, I cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If Florida wins and you're on the committee, because Alabama's locked, killed it on us, and they still killed them. Ole Miss was honestly probably the toughest game they played this year. And Lane knew that team and everything. I think that's and it was a shootout. If you're on the committee, one of the 5 or 6 people or 7 or 8 people that decide this, I think they have 12 or something like that. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. But one of the 5 or 6 real big ones. Do you put Florida in if they beat Alabama?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the college football playoff.
Yep. I don't like it that it's that way, but that's just how it is. I mean, like I said, look how many times Alabama's went, and they didn't even win their conference because it's the way they do it. I definitely put Florida in but they got to beat Alabama. If they don't beat Alabama today, they're not in. That's just in my eyes because they're number 7 now, so that was going to drop. But you almost want the small football kid in me almost wants Alabama to beat Florida, so like one of those other teams can slide up into place like a Cincinnati that deserves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Just to see different teams in there, because that's me. I'm a sports fan at the end of the day, and I can't stand seeing the same people play it out every single year, even if it was Auburn. People say, "Oh, what if it was Auburn?" You went bullshit. If Auburn was going to a national championship and they went 3 years in a row, I'd be like, all right. Now, like, even if this is my team, like God, like after a point, it gets boring.
It would be because they would lose all 3, though, right? That's what I'm
probably so.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Probably so.
Sorry.
Probably so.
I would put them in to your, because I've pondered it all week. But if they beat the Goliath of all of college football, they have to be in there.
Right.
And I would even put them in over at Ohio State if they do that with 2 losses, because they lost at LSU Death Valley by a field goal on a stupid mental mistake.
Right. Stupid.
But I'm gonna pick Alabama though.
You're gonna pick Alabama?
Right. I think they win.
Canceled games. All these will be canceled. Ain't none of them postponed. Vanderbilt at Georgia, Louisiana at Coastal Carolina, Michigan at Iowa, Florida State at Wake Forest, SMU at UTSA, Michigan State at Maryland, Georgia Tech at number 18 Miami, and Arizona at California. All those games are canceled.
Another year of COVID. Well, the first year of COVID, we hope. 2021, obviously, we got these vaccines and stuff, and I think players have to take them, if you're going to play.
Yeah.
So I will say this. There are talks within the next 2 years, potentially next year, that we get an 18 playoff, according to Colin Cowherd.
It would make sense.
He's heard rumblings. He has many sources. About 4 or 5 people with knowledge have seemingly told him, look, it's happening, and it's due to COVID. So I know it sounds crazy. That's why I wish they would have tinkered with it a little bit this year. I really do.
Go ahead and pull the trigger. Yeah, go ahead and put the top 10 in.
Exactly. Just try something, because everybody's had to do it. The NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA did the bubble. Everybody had to get out of their comfort zone a little bit. And we missed so many games, and these kids and coaches wanted to play. So why not just add the teams, a Cincinnati, a BYU, well, a Coastal Carolina at least, maybe not BYU because they did lose, unfortunately. But all these teams that are looking on the outside looking in, even your favorite other SEC West team, Texas A&M, on the outside looking in, give them a little bit of a shot just to see what happens. And
Yeah,
this would have been the perfect year to do that.
Yeah, sure would. Well, that's going to about wrap it up.
Championship weekend, baby. I'm so
Championship
excited.
weekend.
Gonzaga, Baylor.
College football coming to an end. The podcast will be wrapping up to an end once the college football is up. Me and Justin will probably move the basketball show over to Saturday. Put it on Saturday or something like that, or something. If we can get some more followers over there that likes college basketball, we need a few more.
College basketball's ready to take ready to elevate. There's a few conference games this week. Nothing really notable except maybe Kansas and Texas Tech. Kansas won by a point.
Everybody, don't forget this week also, Pinfall will not have any shows due to Christmas coming up. Ain't none of us going to mess with none of it. So we're going to go spend time with our families. Let's see. Revolution. The bottom part of the bracket takes place January the 3rd. So after this week, we'll be coming back full blast for the title. I'm about to go kidnap the title, as a matter of fact, from Patrick. It's cool though. I got to take him so he can stone it. So
you guys do a great job as always. Revolution's been truly revolutionary. I think I've said that a few times, but I feel like it's brought people back into the hobby of promos or whatever, or even watching them. I like to. I'm terrible at them. I faced one guy that ripped me a new one. I'm just like, maybe I should watch.
That was easy on you.
I know. That's what I hear. No, but it's truly, you guys got something great going on, and it's really fun to watch. It really is.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. War Eagle, enjoy your college football day. Y'all have a great day.
Let's go Mountaineers. They don't even play today, but still.
They don't even play. Marshall plays. No, they played last night, didn't they?
Yeah, they're done too. They always peter out. War Eagle.
War Eagle.